Hi, my name is Veronica Medina. I'm CEO of Business Hub. We represent Invest Northern Ireland in the markets of Argentina, Chile, Colombia, Peru, and Mexico. The overview of our main markets these markets are very globally integrated. They're very open to international trade. So, for example, Chile has the second most free trade agreement signed in the world, and Mexico is the country with the most free trade agreements. Peru and Colombia are countries that are following the path of Chile in the sense of opening up their markets. So they are markets that are used to having international competitors and doing international business. I think it's also important to note with that the rules of the game are quite similar for foreign investors to local companies, so everybody is on the same playing field in that sense. So with regards to the business culture in these countries that we cover, for a first premise, all of the countries are Spanish-speaking countries. So if you're going in, you have to take that into consideration with regards to your labeling, your marketing material, and things of that nature. Also, if you're trying to do business with obviously the local companies, it always helps to have a person on your staff that hopefully speaks Spanish. Generally in our country, only 2 to 3% of the population do speak English, although at the higher levels you can find people who understand English, but you have to take into account that they're not English-speaking countries. In terms of the notions of time, time does work a little bit different than the notions that you might have here in Northern Ireland. Things will take longer to occur, so you do have to be insistent, you do have to consistently be following up with your local counterparts. Okay, as previously mentioned before, there are quite a few range of countries that we cover within Latin America, so the opportunities might vary from one to the other. But I think the main opportunities across the countries that we work in would be manufacturing, would be information technology, energy, materials handling, including waste equipment. These are areas that we've seen growth in our countries and obviously are projected for growth, and where I think there's a lot of interest from Northern Ireland companies that can actually meet those opportunities. And also, just adding to that, it's important to note that Chile, Peru, and Colombia does have a free trade agreement with the European Union, so obviously Northern Irish companies would come under that. So in terms of the services that we can provide to Northern Irish companies, you have to look at market studies, identification of partners. If the company actually goes to visit one of our countries, we can set up one-to-one business meetings. We also do trade missions. So for example, now we're working on a trade mission in February to Chile, Peru, and Colombia. So we would be in charge of setting up the meeting appointments there. But really the services are tied around business development and how you would enter our markets, so we can provide those to you. It's very important in our markets, the personal contact is very important. So I do think at the end of the day, once your research is done, you do have to come visit the market. You do also have to have someone on the ground that is going to assist you. And I think in that way, using the services of I&I through companies like us is key. It's very hard to get to our countries and know who exactly you have to meet with. And that's where we come in and make that connection for you. And just doing your due diligence, whether it's for tax, legal purposes, accounting purposes, we can also insist in that. But just do your study before you go. We can help you in that and go to the market.